Okay,
Well,
we are. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it says we're 2 or 3 minutes into the meeting. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just started streaming, so I just got back, so we can go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the information that we talk about tonight. The first thing, let me get the agenda up here. Sorry, should have brought it up. I was busy. I guess somebody can check and make sure that I am um, streaming on Facebook with sound. Hopefully we're doing sound. Okay, I will go ahead and share here. Share. Okay. Okay. So hopefully everybody can see that.
I don't know what my reason is for not having any video, but I'm going to be a blind secretary, I guess, tonight. I haven't figured out what's
Okay.
going on.
Well, I'll bring up your. I will bring up your your secretary's report, and okay, there we go. So hopefully everybody has looked at the secretary's report, but I will bring it up just so everybody can take a look at it here. And I guess there any discussion on the report? Anything of any concerns, errors, omissions?
Is this full screen from you, Jim?
It is full screen from me. I can see if I can make it bigger. Does that change anything? Nope, I don't think it does. Does that make it bigger or smaller?
The writing is about the same size.
Okay, hold on here. I'm thinking
Maybe it's getting bigger.
I think I can make it bigger, so give me a second here. Me 100%. Here we go, zoom. How about that? Does that help?
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. Okay, any issues? If not, I'll happy to entertain a motion to approve the minutes as provided in the invite for the meeting and listed here.
This is Eric. I so move.
Okay, Eric, good. Do I have a second?
This is Grant. I second.
Okay. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. I'm going to leave that up, and I'm going to bring up the treasurer's report. Here we go. Hopefully it is okay. Let me make it bigger here. There we go. Okay, let me get it so it's all on the page here. Give me 1 second. Oops. Okay. Brian,
There
can you
go.
walk us through this? Because I think this just got filled out today, so I'm not sure anybody's had a chance to review it.
Right. Well, at the top of July 1st, we had $75.50 in PayPal.
Okay.
We had members and fest fees. 5 people sent them in July. So that totals to $175. PayPal deduct several of those. The way they come in, they did have that deduction of, I think it was 2.9% and 30 cents or something like that.
Okay.
That's where the 682 is taken out.
Okay.
Microsoft got paid out of PayPal. That's the 877. So our total was $234.91 total for PayPal. Whoops, 58 cents
Sorry.
interest on the bank. So the total came to the 13,000. Was it 800?
13,886.
886.77, right?
Okay.
My screen just went all pixelated for your video,
Oh,
but
got
that's
it.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Go ahead.
oh yeah, I didn't mention the beginning bank balance was $13,651.28. So if you see the spreadsheet, you can see how they're all totaled up. I left
What were you, what, what'd you say
extra
that?
lines
Say
in
that
there.
again? Huh?
I
I'm
left
sorry.
the
Could you say that
extra
again?
lines in there. I didn't want to take them out in case I would mess up the totals.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. But the totals are correct at the bottom. That's correct?
Right.
Okay.
Picture here is all pixelated.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can stop and start sharing again. Hold on a second. I will try it again. Okay. Let me stop sharing and share it again. Give me a second. Okay. Can you see that? Does it look better?
Yep.
We're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So any concerns? Any questions?
Excuse me.
Okay. If not, in like
Motion
love
to
entertain.
approve.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve from Bob. A second.
Second from Rich.
Rich, second. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Let me get back to our agenda right here. So I know Tony's got some updates. I've got some updates for Cocoa Fest, and whatnot. We can go over that. I wanted to ask before we start. There's a couple things I wanted to ask before we get into the updates and the Cocoa Fest discussion. One is there was an action item. I guess I should add it to here around the treasurer's report for March or April. Brian, you and I think Eric, you guys were there was like a two PayPal fees or something. You guys remember that item? You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking, or not? It was PayPal. It was Microsoft. 2 Microsoft charges.
Yep. I emailed somebody with a copy of the invoices
Okay.
because I think the invoices, if I recall, were correct. Brian, did I email you about that? What?
Right. Yeah, I saw those.
So
Okay.
I don't
what did
remember
I
what the
suggest
question was.
our next step was?
So the question is, there's two items in the February or March Treasury report. So let's just look at them real quick. So there was a Microsoft 365 on 423 of $8.20 and a 427 monthly charge for $877. But they're two charges in the same month, and we should only have to pay once per month for Microsoft.
Oh, okay, the two charge things.
Yes.
Now I was looking at the 877. I didn't remember the 820.
Okay.
What?
Well, my email would have said something about that. What did my email say? It's been so long now. I don't have access to my email.
I don't.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I guess I don't know that I want to discuss it here. Can you guys? I mean, we really need to find out why that is, and we need to get either we need to get a reason for it, or we need to get it refunded. So, can you take that to
Okay.
disposition it for
Sure.
next month? Thank you. Okay. So that was one thing, and the other one was I wanted I, I wanted to know if there are any items of new business that people know about, so we can put them on the list. I didn't get anything, but I wanted to ask real quick because the old business, the Cocoa Fest and stuff, may take quite a bit of time, and I just want to make sure we leave time for any new business that we might have.
The lanyard.
Okay, lanyard, I got it. I figured that would come up during the Cocoa Fest stuff, but that's fine. I can put it there. Anything else?
Elections?
Okay, elections. Okay. Any other items? Okay. I just wanted to make sure we got those on there so we can cover them. Tony, I'll start with you around what Cocoa Fest updates you have, and then I have some.
Well, excuse me, about the only thing that is new, well, there's a couple. I mean, you've got all the information on the dinners, which will help smooth out some questions in the past, and that's good. We have received a donation against the expenses of the fest from Nathaniel Smith, whom I'm guessing is not going to be able to make it this year, but he did make a donation of $100 towards the expenses of the fest. That was logged into the spreadsheet and distributed to the officers this afternoon. And as far as speakers, I ran across the spreadsheet that, oh, my brain's going south again, that I had received with who had been contacted, and I'm drafting a letter to finalize, who, to be sent out to all of them to get a response from them, so I can get a schedule set up and with the topics and or a short bio that was requested, I believe. And I really don't think we need any more speakers, because it's going to, if I remember correctly, there's somewhere between 8 and 10 names that Terry had contacted, and I've not gotten any positive feedback from the one person that I'd like to have come. But he's also had a lot of stuff going on in his life in the past 6 months. A 2-state location move, a new job coming up that he's starting at soon. So I think asking for a vacation in 3 months is also probably out of the question, but I'll address him anyway.
Okay.
So anyway, that's about it. And then I got to put together a time schedule based on how long we want to have the individual sessions, and I'm really thinking no more than 45 minutes per session, which would give 15-minute time to clear the room and people to mill in and out and get set up for the next session by the speaker. And it's going to be interesting about those that may want to do a virtual visit. So I'm totally at a loss for that. I may tap somebody who has a little bit more knowledge on setting that stuff up. I know 2 years ago we had a couple of virtuals, and I'm not sure who to tap. I mean, I have an idea of somebody who's visual experienced on that, but if you want to volunteer, I'll take volunteer names from people who are familiar with setting up the virtual.
Go ahead.
Tony, I'm sorry. This is Terry Steggy. Hey, Brian Weisler had offered to help with the virtual stuff when I was doing that. I don't know if maybe he'd be someone we could reach out to.
I am on the call here, and yeah, I can help with it. I also, just to add to it, I did offer if we need any equipment, I do have I do have a couple projectors. I also have a screen, and I also have a portable PA if we need it for the people that would be local. That I'm more than happy to bring.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll be in touch with you, Brian.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Brian.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we've got
Can I
I
interject
can't.
something here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tony, I would suggest that when you actually do the schedule of the speakers, that you not start them close to the beginning of the fest, because the people who have been in past years waiting in line to get registered, which I hope will be a much smaller line this year, have missed out on the first presentation because of that. And actually, I'd like to attend some of these presentations, and I've never had a chance. So I suggest that the first presentation start maybe an hour after the opening of the fest. Now, that's just a suggestion, but put it into the mix.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Do you think it's feasible, Tony, to have a kind of blocked out and mostly solidified schedule by the October meeting? Because that would still be a couple weeks prior, and so if we wanted to make some small changes, we could. But do you think that would be possible for us to shoot to have the schedule so we could look at it during the meeting in the October meeting?
I will shoot for that.
Okay. I would like to do that because that I feel like that if we had any kind of issues or we want to put any kind of changes to it, we can do that there and
Well, and
still
if
have
there's
enough time to implement.
if there's any objection, or unless there's any objection, I'd like to put whatever we're working on the website schedule-wise, because it's just
Okay.
good for people to know what our schedule is going to look like.
That sounds fine too. I guess Tony, maybe as soon as we can get stuff blocked out, at least tentative, let's see if we can get it up on the website.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. And I think I've got some time now to devote to this. I know I was hoping to do it in the month of July, and obviously that didn't happen. But so maybe you and I can meet in the next few weeks, and I've got a lot of the information. I'll go over a lot of it tonight, but I'm gonna make, I think, just finishing up the schedule and some of the special things that we want to do, get that set up with you, and get it to kind of plugged into your schedule, I guess, would be the thing I'm thinking.
All right, that's not a problem.
Okay. Okay. I do have a bunch of updates. So I guess, is there any questions for Tony before I start in on things? Okay. I'm going to share something here real quick because there was a question in the last meeting about the floor plan. So let me share the floor plan here. I think this is the one I want to share. So let me make sure I've got the right one here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, hold on here a second. Stop sharing. Sorry, I got this one. See if this is it. Okay, so we've got 78 days left, looks like. And one of the things that people asked was the, where is it? 2021. So this is the view of the entire facility. I know we were trying to kind of tried to put it together really quick in the last meeting, and I didn't do a great job of doing it, but I got this from the Holiday Inn. So we have these two rooms right here. Can you see my, yeah, you can. The Woodfield Ballroom A and B, and we have the Elk Room as well. And then as you can see right here, there's two doorways into the ballroom, and there's space in here for a table. So Richard, we were talking about having this area right here, between the elk and the grove room, be where the registration is for the event, and then people can go in to this room. If we leave the elk room double doors closed, then the only way to get to the elk room, at least until registration is over, would be through the Woodfield Ballroom. So you would control access to the event by putting the table right there in the front.
Remember, I'm blind. I can't see what you're showing.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, it's on the Google Drive in the Cocoa Fest directory under 2021. You can look in there.
Okay. But considering that I can't see what we're talking about, we originally had only 2 rooms reserved. It was the Woodfield Ballroom, and I forget which one was the other one.
The elk room. Okay,
but are you saying we now have all 3 of them? The Grove Room also?
No. I'm saying we have. Nobody has the Grove Room. Nobody else has the Grove Room reserved for the event. Nobody has the Village Room or the Grove Room reserved for the event. So nobody's going to be using those rooms. They're just blank right now. They're not being used.
Last month I suggested, and I put it in.
I know, and I'm getting there. I'm just saying what we have right now.
Okay, because I think the previous system was just not very good, where the registration was always getting in the way of the fest activities. And if we had one more room, I think we could avoid that. And then as soon as the main registration is over, we can downsize that, and then that can be the auction room, and the other room can be the presentation room.
And that's fine. So we can do that. And we can talk through that. What I wanted to point out was, this is the layout of the room. I guess you'll have to load it up on the website and look at it, but everybody else should be able to see this. And to Rich's point, the Village Room and the Grove Room are not reserved at this point. However, I did talk to the venue, and those 2 rooms can be reserved for the weekend for $200 per room. So the Grove Room is $200 and the Village Room is $200.
I don't remember what the Village Room is, but I don't think we need more than 1 additional room.
And that's fine. The Grove Room is the elk room. It's just on the other side of the ballroom. Like the whole thing is symmetrical. Grove on the left, elk on the right, and then Woodfield A and B are behind them. So, did somebody else have a comment?
Well, that seems really inexpensive to me. I say we just grab the Grove Room right away.
And that's fine. I agree that I thought it was pretty inexpensive, and so I was thinking the same thing, and we can work to do that.
So that's 200 for the whole weekend, not per day.
I could have swore when I got her on the phone and asked, she said it was 200, and I could have swore she said the weekend, but I'll confirm whether it's 200 for the weekend or 200 per day. So I will confirm that.
And it would count towards that dollar for dollar match. So yeah, I think that's a great deal.
Correct. It will count for the dollar for dollar match.
What's the plan with the auction? Where will the auction be held?
Eric, when you guys set this up initially,
the auction was to be held in the elk room along with the talks. But if we were to get the Grove Room, it'd be a perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I'd say we should do it.
Okay, well, that's fine. I can take care of.
That's a no-brainer in my opinion.
That's fine. Okay, so some of the other information, I'm trying to make sure I get everything. So we talked a little bit about this before the meeting, but I was able to get the information around the dinner. And so let me back out of this real quick. Okay, go back. Or are you not going back? How cute. So let's see, Bookfest. So I talked to her, talked to Victoria, the lady that works in the catering area, and initially we were looking at this dinner buffet, which is about $38 per person, but she said no, we need to be looking at this lunch buffet meal. So there's these various options here, and so initially we were looking at a dinner version of this thing called the Classic, and so the plan is to continue with this idea. It's increased a little bit in price. She said the prices went up from $24 per person to $26 per person, but this is the the I guess the essentially the option, and then basically the choices you get are you get to choose your two entrees from the various options there, and then you can choose mashed potatoes or wild rice, and the team the club asked for a team to go off and work on that, and so that team met, and currently the choices are the choices are the chicken, and we were debating around the pork loin or the London broil, and I think I may put together like a survey or something for people who've already decided to come and see, which one of those wins out. And we'd chosen the garlic mashed potatoes, the seasoned vegetables, and the dessert, and then the soup du jour and the house salad. I obviously I don't know what the soup is going to be, but the soup du jour and the house salad are both included in this lunch buffet, whereas in the dinner you had to pick from one of the two. You had to pick either the soup or the house salad. So I think this is a really good deal. It's obviously cheaper than the initial dinner menu that we were seeing, and I did confirm with Victoria today that, as Eric indicated, the cost of the meal in total is deducted from the total amount of money that we spent on the venue. I guess that's probably not the best way to describe it. Right now we're paying $2,400 for the venue, and if somebody buys a $26 meal, we don't have to pay another $26. That $26 is the cost of that meal is figured as part of the cost of the venue. So you can buy up to $2,400 worth of meals at no additional cost. And so and then of course there's $26. $26 you can buy $2,400 worth of $26 meals, and it doesn't cost us any more money to purchase those meals. It goes against, or it deducts from the cost of the venue. And then of course once you get I guess if the meals were $24, once you purchased 100 meals, let's say, then you would end up having to spend more than $2,400 because the meals would then be more than the cost of the venue. They would end up being more than $2,400. So does anybody have a question about that? Because it was a little complicated for me to figure out, but that's how it works. It's a dollar for dollar match.
That's a
I'm
great deal.
amazed. It's too good to be true.
I know. Well, and it even gets better. And Grant may be wanting to pipe up. I'll let him talk in just a second. But initially, I thought that, so as with every venue, there is an 11% tax, I believe, and a 22% gratuity included in all of the services that we are doing. So there is some additional cost above the $2,400. I was thinking that they would do a dollar for dollar match on the price of the meal, but not the tax and gratuity. But she confirmed today that it is including the tax and gratuity. So every dollar we spend on tax or gratuity counts towards this $2,400, or it ends up being $3,192 with the tax and gratuity ended. But the total includes that. We get that compensated as well. So that it's an even better than, it's too good to be true, and then too good to be true after already saying that. Grant? Somebody else was trying to pipe in. Maybe it wasn't Grant.
Nope, that wasn't I.
Okay. Well, anyway, so that is the meal situation. So I'll probably put together a survey, and I'll work with you, Tony, to get the people who've already registered to come as exhibitors or whatnot, who have indicated that they're planning to eat at the dinner, and we can survey them and see.
So
You know,
does
and if
anybody
I
know
get,
what a London broil is, by the way?
It's a steak.
It's a steak
It's a
wrapped in
steak.
bacon.
Well, it's a cut of beef that's sometimes a little tough.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was John's point is probably the one I was thinking of most is London broil is not exactly your fillet or your tenderloin cut. It's kind of I wouldn't say it's the bottom of the barrel cut, but it's definitely not anywhere near
I mean,
the top.
it can taste really good if it's well prepared or whatever, but it also can be a chew fest.
So for my opinion, Jim, I would probably if we're gonna do a survey, I would probably put the meatloaf, chicken, pork, and the London broil, and just see what we come up with.
And that's fine. I can do that. I mean, we can make it just sort of like, hey, we just like to hear what your opinion is. We can see, you know, what people who are planning to eat already would prefer, and then we get to choose two of them, so we can choose the top two. That was my plan to do that, and so that's the meal. So the meal is taken care of. Oh, and by the way, the other thing I thought was really interesting, again, Rich, to your point of it's too good to be true, the $38 meal, which was dinner, did not include a dessert, but this does include a dessert. I have no idea what it is, but I thought that was kind of cool. They did also indicate that people who are vegan or vegetarian, we just need to let them know ahead of time, and they will make plated meals for them. And she said that we need to get, and this is probably for you, Tony, and also Eric, for you. I think we need to put this in the website. She said that if we can give her the total number of meals that we, you know, or we can give the menu by November 1st. So that actually is not for you. But the second one is we need to give them 72 hours notice on the final count of meals and the makeup.
Right.
So how many meals are vegan, vegetarian, and how many meals total that we need to figure on. So now here's a question. I know some of the people are going to be registering that day, and so do we want, and this is just a question, do we want to purchase a few extra meals in case there's some folks who register that day that want to take part in that? Or do we say if you wanted to have a meal, then you've got to pre-register?
My
No.
opinion
We
is,
we should have more than enough food for everybody because there's going to be people who sneak in. There's going to be people who eat more than others. So we need extra meals. I don't know about extra vegetarian meals, but we definitely want to have plates. We've never asked throughout all of this process if anybody wants a vegetarian meal. So I'm not sure how we're going to collect that now. We'd have to go back and ask everybody.
Well, since we're going to ask them about the meal anyway, I can put vegetarian or vegan as one of the options on the survey.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I'm only aware of one person so far that needs to have a vegan meal. So
yeah, if it's like a reasonable number, I say we just use the results of the survey and maybe even extrapolate it out to our estimated visit count, which I'm not sure where we're at, but Randy could probably tell us what the estimate is going to be as we get closer.
Okay. Somebody else wanted to say something and I didn't catch who it was.
It's Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, I can put together a menu selection based on the classic, and then also with a little input on what would be available. So if you're talking to him, Jim, in terms of a non-meat meal, we put together like I say, a menu selection, because they've got a choice of 2 different entrees, and people are going to want to pick what they want out of that line, and we can send it out to those who are registered for the meal currently,
Mhm.
and maybe with Randy's assist, kind of incorporate that into the website or into Tandy List, and or the website, the web page,
Mhm.
and have them submit it to us by mid-October
Yep,
for the first
that's fine.
date, and then of course, uh, maybe by the meeting date, so they can be compiled and then by November 1st and forwarded.
That's fine. Well, let's go do that, and then let's. I guess Randy, if you could, see fit to help us with putting that into the website. It might be just as well to have them, um, you know, give them a link and send them to the website. The only thing I want to do is I want to be careful that we're not saying, please pick your 2 entrees, because I can't do that, right? We got to pick 2 entrees for everybody. So really what we need to do is we have to force rank, or we have to rank. People have to say what's, like, put them in order, which are the ones you prefer all the way to the ones you least prefer. And then we do, like we've done other things where we say, okay, the first choice gets, I don't know, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 choices. So the first one gets 5 points. Second choice gets 4 points, and so on. And then we figure out who's got the most points. And then whichever the 2 are that get the most points, that's the ones I think that we want to go forward with. Because we can't let everybody pick their own favorite top 2, because that won't work. So,
Okay.
Jim, this is Brian Weisler.
yeah.
2 questions. One, in the past, do we typically know about how many people register on that day? That might give us an idea. Like if in the past we've always had 20 walk-ins, and that might give us some idea. And then the second part is, and I'm not sure if you mentioned this when you had the map up on the screen, but where would this dinner be served at? Are they expected to use one of the areas that we are renting for the weekend, or
No,
they have a separate?
No, they are not. They have a different area. So
Okay.
let me just show you. I don't know if it's on the. I realize a lot of you may not have been to this facility yet, but there is an atrium that's not in the. It's not in the main area. So this lobby front desk arrow right here. If you go and continue down this aisle right here, there's a big area right here, like right where this meeting room dimension stuff is. There's a big area right here that's essentially an atrium, and they will be having the dinner at that atrium. Actually, they said the atrium's this way, so maybe it's the atrium. I guess that I thought this was the atrium, but it says the atrium is this way, so it must be this way. But I can get information on that as well. I don't have a picture of that part of the facility right now.
That's fine. I just didn't hear that comment. I didn't know it's like they're going to be serving it in there with us. Okay.
Nope. They're going to set up the other one, and then we'll take care of like who like we've done in the past, who's paid and whatnot. I think my original, so we can do a survey. We can do it on the website, however we want to do it, that's fine. I think the big question I have is, and maybe not something I need an answer to right now, but just the thought of is how many extra meals, or what percentage of meals extra should we allot for people who maybe sign up that day and want to eat the food. So we need to be thinking about that. I'm not necessarily needing to debate it right now, but Eric, it sounded like you had a thought about it doing it, but we need to come up with just how much, right? Is it 10 meals extra? Is it 20 meals extra? Is it we should do 10% or what?
Said we can see what other people have bought in the past on the day and see kind of get an idea from there.
Okay, Rich, is that something that you have? Who all, like, how many people registered that day versus how many people were pre-registered?
I could come up with that, but I don't think that's relevant because we're putting on such a strong push this year to have everybody pre-register.
Okay.
True.
Well, everybody
Well,
should think about it and provide some comments on it because I think if we're going to buy extra, we're going to need to know how many extra to buy before November 1st.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, I'll play
Yeah,
the role of curmudgeon here,
yeah.
and I'll suggest that it's not that hard to find food elsewhere in the general area of that venue, and
Hmm.
if you didn't bother to sign up for it, you can tough it and go somewhere else. So there, I said it. Everybody else can say what a big meanie I am. You can blame me if you want.
well, no,
I
I
actually like.
agree. I agree
I
with John.
actually like your. I actually like your position, but I'm trying to be impartial.
I agree with John too. The thing is though, a lot of people I suspect are going to eat more than one meal's worth. So I don't know how the hotel calculates all that, but I think we're going to need more than your average amount of plates per person.
Eric, are you trying to tell something about all this
I'm
overweight
just
people?
saying what people have said last year or the year before. I'm just kind of repeating it for this year to remind us all that we may eat more than one plate per person.
Yeah, but if
Counter.
they want that, then maybe we use John's proposal there too, and say if you want more than one plate's worth of for the food, buy more than one plate's worth of food. I
Plus,
mean, I mean,
No, no, I
mean,
get what you're saying, but it allows us to overflow in case we have a lot of walk-ins, but we'll also eat it. So don't worry,
Overflow.
we're gonna eat all the
Well,
food.
I mean, you're only going to get either one meat, and that's it. So you're not going to be able to get two meats.
Well, it's a buffet, right? So you can go get more if you wanted.
comment.
No.
yeah, yeah, Tony.
Yeah, Eric, I don't think this is a buffet style. This is,
Oh,
if I am understanding the way the hotel may be operating and how we have had a similar type situation in Elgin about 10 years ago. This is at a seated table where they bring to you the plates
Oh,
that are
okay.
already
So
loaded with the meal. You don't go back up for seconds.
sure. So are you gonna like point I want that one and that one?
I don't know. I tell you what, that's a good question. So those are good questions. I will ask. I will ask about
Yeah.
how the meal
Yeah,
is
if we're set with just one plate and it's got the food on there and you better be happy with it. Yeah, I say we close ordering after November 1st.
Okay. Well, I will check on this first part, but assuming that we're in reasonably good shape on serving the people that do pay, I actually prefer John's position, and I think there's something about making an executive decision around that's what we're going to do. I hate to buy a bunch of extra food, and then people can't come, and so they end up paying, but they don't come, and so there's food for them anyway, and then we end up with extra food on top of that, and then we just end up with a bunch of food, and nobody except for the folks that are in town will be able to take it and put it anywhere. And I'm not sure I want to have to deal with that. I don't know that I want to dole it out afterwards. This isn't like a potluck where everybody gets to separate it into 20 little containers and send it to 20 people. So
Correct.
Well, in the
hotel
past, yeah, in
The
the
hotel
past
sorry,
staff
what?
takes it home.
we've like served it the next day, but I doubt we're going to be doing that around this place.
no,
This place
no.
seems a
No.
lot
Yeah,
classier.
that's kind of the point I was going to
different.
make is that the past couple of years with the barbecue stuff, we ended up with extras afterwards, and people ate the next day or whatever. So I'm not too concerned about people not getting or not eating enough or whatever. It seemed like the experience has been that they didn't eat all that was provided anyway. So
That sounds good. I think I'm good with that. However, that does make an implication that I think we need to put on the website and I'll put it on Facebook too. But if people want to be a part of the meal, then people need to pre-register. So that kind of goes to your point, Rich, where we're really pushing the pre-registration this year, so you don't have a bunch of people to deal with that morning. So this is
Right.
another reason to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's spent enough time on that. I'm trying to get through this stuff. Okay, so I talked about that. They do have shuttle service. However, she said this is another thing, we really need to send out probably a note to folks telling them to let us know if they're going to need shuttle service, because she said given all the situation right now, They're not running a 24-hour a day shuttle service essentially, and so they just, in fact, they don't even have the person there unless they know there's going to be a reasonable need for shuttles. So, so we do need to kind of prep them for that. So I talked
I'll
about.
update the
Oh, go ahead.
website with this information. I didn't know this information. I can update the website.
That's fine. I realize I just got it for everybody. The other thing is we talked last month about an in-person visit, and so that's great. I'm going to suggest the weekend of September 10th and 11th. I think is the date. Let me see here real
Yep.
quick.
That's BCF Midwest. That'd be perfect.
That's right. So I'm going to be in town for VCF Midwest, and so it would be really ideal if we could do it that weekend. She said anytime. I'll be there on the 10th in the evening, the 11th. I can break away for some time, or the 12th in the afternoon. I probably would prefer the 12th in the afternoon, unless people have a real issue with that. So we can go through and do a walkthrough of the facility. I know, Rich, you'd asked to be a part of that. I think, Tony, you wanted to be, I wanted to be. And so, I mean, there's a couple of us that need to go for logistics reasons. So I'm suggesting that. But we can do it anytime. She just needs to know when. So, are there any concerns with the 12th of September?
It's fine with me.
Okay, Tony? Did I lose you, Tony?
I have it open.
Okay. And is there anybody else? I don't want everybody coming to the walkthrough. We don't need everybody there. But is there somebody else that feels they really need to be to see this facility so that they can make some sort of decisions?
Well, I'll tag along if it doesn't get too crowded.
Okay. Okay. So I will make that appointment for the 12th. And that is, I think, so we've talked about the food, we talked about the venue, we talked about the extra space, we talked about the walkthrough, and I did get, somebody asked about the final contract. I did get the final contract. However, I will have them updated again for this additional room. I'm wondering, who can sign the contract? Who should sign that? Do I sign the contract, or Rich, do you sign the contract, or Brian, do you sign the contract? Who signs the contract?
I would think you would, Jim.
Been the president, yeah.
And that's fine. I'm happy to do so. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on anybody's toes to do so, because I was going to send it back to
Yeah,
her.
so therefore, if we don't pay the bill, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I've never signed the contract, so.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Okay. So, any other questions about the 2021 Cocoa Fest? We talked about the auction. We talked about the list for speakers, the virtual speakers. Anything else I haven't covered that people want to know about? Okay, what?
My item is what somebody mentioned this a couple meetings back, that there's an entrance direct from the parking lot to the exhibition hall.
There is.
People sometimes park there. And so
That's
we
right.
need to find a particular person who's going to be there early Friday, who will take the initiative to find out whether the Holiday Inn might have some traffic cones we could put up, a barricade or something, so that early in the day Friday we can get that blocked off so that it won't be some cars that we don't know, can't find the owners of.
Nope, that's fine. What I'll probably do is, if somebody doesn't have a traffic cone between now and September 12th, I will buy a traffic cone and bring it and give it to somebody like yourself, Eric, and then maybe somebody who's already in the Chicago area, and I'll probably buy 2 cones, and we'll just somebody maybe just show up there in the morning and drop the 2 cones there, and then we'll be good.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay. I got John's got something, and John Linville.
Okay. So I hate to darken the cloud here or whatever.
Yeah.
Given the COVID situation, and dummy me, I went off and got vaccinated, thought I was going to be fine, and apparently now I'm still, not fine,
Mm-hmm.
like the rest of us. So,
Right.
is there a facility or locality, municipality mask mandate, and/or are we putting one on as a club? And if so, what is the mandate? What are the rules? And are we publishing? Where are we publishing them?
So the Holiday Inn is our conversation last month was that we were going to abide by the rules that were enforced by the venue. And they have a thing on their Elk Grove Village. Let me see what it is. It's probably going to change. We can make. Sorry about that. Somebody was trying to call me. Let's see. Where is the thing here? So there's a. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. It's my phone and my computer are hooked to the same set headset. So there's a thing here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Oh, shoot. I thought I'll look it up. It's a good thing. It's a good point, John. And I saw a thing that said, here's what our rules are right now when you go to our location. And I was going to have us post that on the website and use that as the set of rules to follow, because whatever that is, we'll have to follow that. But I was probably going to, because it's a huge political minefield to do otherwise. I don't know that I was going to set up any kind of more restrictive rules for the club than what the venue has as their rules. I figure this isn't an absolutely necessary thing to attend. And so if people are concerned and don't like the situation as it relates to the Holiday Inn's rules and stipulations, then unfortunately, I think the best option for them would be to
Not come.
visit this
Yeah.
virtually or just not attend this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand that, and I think that's a fine policy. We probably just need to make sure that everybody understands. So I guess that's a task for the webmaster.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know, it's like the situation. I might not come if they're mandating them. Some other people might not come if they're not mandating them. So just to be fair to everyone, need to get the rules out.
Yep.
I've heard that Chicago is going to start mandating masks again. Now the venue's not in Chicago, but depending on how things go, things can change in a month or two. So keep your eyes out.
What
Yep.
county are you guys in?
Cook.
The fest will be in Cook County, as is Chicago.
Yeah. We can put this link right here because it looks like it's updated all the time, but they're not requiring masks. They are recommending masks, regardless of vaccination state. I'll be honest with you, earlier in the year when I wasn't sure that I really thought we might have a chance to do this, but we might still need masks. I actually went through the trouble of doing a search for masks that we could purchase that were more of a cloth mask that had the Coco, had the TRS-80 logo or something on them. And then I promptly pushed that off to the side because I thought that would be a non-issue by the time the show appeared. And now it appears as though we may need to go ahead. I think we had talked originally about putting out some hand sanitizer and some disposable masks for people who showed up without them and wanted to continue to come to the show, but would feel more comfortable wearing a mask. So I think we'll probably still do that. I was thinking we might not have to do that given what I thought the situation would turn into, but it may not be the case. So I think we will do that, but I don't see here that they're requiring it, so I don't intend to require it to attend.
I'm sorry, I had a phone call too to bump me off. So the masks are not required or are required?
The venue is not requiring the masks. They are recommending the masks, and they even regardless of vaccination status, but they are not requiring the masks. So,
But if you cough, you better put a mask on.
well, if you cough, you better. I mean, you should never cough on anybody anyway. So I guess thinking there's
Clear
a
the
certain amount
room.
of. So anyway, that's a good point. And so Eric, if you can update the website to include the link to this right here, it's off their main page.
Yep.
One other thing, I would make a suggestion. This is August, November may be different, but I would strongly advise you that if you have been vaccinated, you might want to take a picture of that on your cell phone, because I do know that several cities are now starting to require a vaccine pass to get into venues, and I do not know if this will be applying to the Holiday Inn or not in the future, but just to CYA yourself.
Fine. Maybe we can just put that on the website along with this notice as well. Go ahead and take a photo or take a cop. We can bring a copy of your vaccine card, or at
Yeah,
least
'cause I know that
consider it.
San Francisco and New York's doing it, and New Orleans is doing it, and with Chicago being very liberal, I would probably say that they're going to be doing it soon.
Yeah, we in Illinois we do have a vaccine card, but nobody's requiring it as far as I know. We have no plans to require someone to show their card. But if you're traveling anywhere, I would bring the card that you have, because things can change at any time.
I don't think. Yeah, I think the main point of this, and probably the main point that John is making is, main point John making is we need to tell people about this. So we need to put it on the website, and I'll post it on Facebook. The other thing I think to Grant's point is some people forget about this stuff because it's not something you do every day. This is a kind of a new reality. So it wouldn't hurt for us to remind them to say, hey, if you're traveling to the venue, you may want to consider bringing a copy of, or a scan of, or a photo of your vaccination card, just in case. Just at least so we've let them know. Then if they choose not to do it, and if we've told them about it, then if they need it and they don't have it, then at least I don't feel bad about it, right?
Right. Well, and the reason also I bring that up too, because I know here in Kansas City we don't have a vaccine passport. But if you decide to go out to a restaurant, there's some restaurants and bars that are requiring you to show your vaccine card before they let you in the door. So if you decide to go out to eat at what is the name of that restaurant, Portillo's, maybe they will require that to enter the venue before you can eat. So I'm just saying, just
got that. Okay, and John, that was your point, right? I mean, you got your point brought forward.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Just so you should know, because some people feel strongly on both sides.
Yes, they do. And I
A
know
comment?
hold on. John Mark he asked a while back, and I just got finished with John's point. So John Mark?
I think Jason Timmons has got something to transform the power, the 110. I think some of the power outlets are maybe like 270 volts AC, and
Okay.
And so
Jason
has.
I will ask him. A step down transformer or something. I'll ask him.
And
I'll take care of that.
Michael Lee usually sets up the power strips under the tables.
Yep. He does. Okay. Got it. Tony.
Okay, you were talking about dismissing the masks.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about doing that.
But we could have these available. They're already available actually right now. We could have the vendor. Who am I thinking of? Canadian Neil. If they cannot come down, I believe at least he could ship these down. I know because I've already gotten 4 of them, and we could have them available for people to either to purchase or possibly supply them as souvenirs, depending on the cost.
Okay, I will ask Neil what the prices are for his masks. Okay.
And it's also an advertisement for the cocoa.
That's right. Okay. Okay. Anything else? We do have We do. Yeah, we're going to talk about lanyards and new business. So I just got a couple more things. Yes.
Okay.
Rich, anything?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Well, so quickly going through 2 items of old business, and then we'll get to the 2 items of new business. The first item is the Cocoa Fest dates. Last month, we decided May 14th and 15th as the 2022 Cocoa Fest date. So I checked with the venue. That's open, and so they're working up a contract for me for that date. So I think it's a little later. We talked about it last time. It was a little later than normal, but we wanted to give about 6 months between the 2 spots, and so this was a date, and it is open.
Run it by me again.
May 14th and 15th. So,
Thank you.
Rich, you really, after this, you have got to figure out a way to get to your screen share. I don't know what's going on, but
It always used to work. I don't know what
I
happened.
don't know. You set up a time with your friendly neighborhood IT guy. So
Is
the
it okay
second
to
one,
announce those dates?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it okay to announce those dates?
Not yet. Let me get the contract. I mean, they're announcing kind of here. I guess you can say, well, that's the plan. I guess that's okay.
Tentative.
Yeah, I'd say tentative. I don't have a contract yet. I'm a little leery of saying it's locked in stone until I get an actual contract in my hand. But I don't see any problem with it. I just tentative sounds like that. If you can caveat it a little bit, that's great.
Sure.
Jim?
Yeah.
Jim? Mike Rowan signed the original contract for 2020 in June of 2019. So there's
Okay.
a signature on a standing contract, even though the date had to be postponed.
Yeah, that's true. She's changed so much though. She wants a new signature, so I'm okay. So I just
And
want to make sure
I think
can
I've
sign it.
signed it since
Okay.
then too. So I think this year's Cocoa Fest will be signed 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah. Okay, so the next item is we talked last month about the September GCC picnic, and I apologize. I had family issues come up in July, and so I wasn't right after the last meeting, and so I've been kind of out of pocket. I did talk to Brian Schubering, and he said, well, he'd love to host. They're getting ready to do some major renovations on their home, which will be going on about this time. So he doesn't think that's a really good idea to host it with all the renovations going on. The other one is, and I didn't put it in. Oh yeah, I did put it in here. The date we selected was exactly the same date as VCF Midwest. So the Saturday, which was September 11th, is the show date, September 10th and 11th for VCF Midwest. And so I kind of wanted to throw back on the group here. Schubering's probably not a good option. One of the things we could do is we could do it that weekend, and we could do something at the venue, the VCF Midwest venue, if you wish. There's a big open atrium area that we could use, or I could work with Jason to get a spot for like the Cocoa group if you want to do the Glenside thing, and then we maybe have people who are cocoa enthusiasts or whatnot. They can come and sit with us or whatnot. I don't know. We want to feed them, but we could do that if you want, or we could pick a different date. But we also need to pick a different venue as well, because Brian says he will not be able to host it much as he wants to.
I think that's an interesting idea to have a Cocoa get together for a couple hours on September 11th.
Yeah, I agree, because there's going to be a lot of people from out of town coming in that weekend.
Yeah, it might get people interested in the club too.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Well, I know time is growing short on this, but I will call. Actually, Jason's been pinging me, and so I will ask him about it after I get off the call here or tomorrow, and see what options are. And then I will probably, I guess, what I'll try to do is I'll try to put the information on the Facebook page and the website. And so I guess if you look there for the information, and we'll just kind of deal with it that way, and we'll kind of set it up that way. So because September 11th is going to come before our next meeting. We've got about 3 weeks, I think, before that. So anyway, I wanted to come up with those 2. Okay. Those are the only. Go ahead.
Did you say the VCF Midwest was the 10th and 11th?
Correct.
I think it's 11th and 12th.
Oh, okay, 11th and 12th. Okay.
Yeah, 12th is a Sunday, 11th is Saturday, and that's what the website says.
Fair enough. So it's 11th and 12th, but it's still on the 11th. So
Right.
my point's still valid. So, okay. The new business, and I will bring up this item here, is around lanyards. We had a conversation last time around wanting to have a lanyard. Let me stop sharing this, and I'll share a document that John Mark Mobley had. So let me get the document up here. In fact, let me just share my screen because there's like 2 or 3 things that we want to show. See where this is here. Here it is. Okay. So this is, so I don't know, John Mark, is this you that's going to take us through this document that you put together and sent out?
I don't know if Bob Swoger is still on the call, but Bob
Okay.
Swoger and I worked on it.
Okay.
It's a 3x4 card holder. I don't know where that 2.5 times 3.3.
That's the internal, probably. That's 3x5 is, or 3x4 is probably the outside of it, and 2.5 by 3.3 is probably the inside.
I'm on board on this one.
Okay.
You will note that Shelley Hart is the person we contacted.
Mm-hmm.
What we're showing you there is on the left where it says pricing. We're talking about the number of pieces and the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't see any dollar signs there, but there ought to be.
Yep.
That is the price per unit for a normal 2.5 by 3.3 card.
Oh, I see.
And then Brian Schubring demanded that we use our 3x4 because he is set up to do that and has been for years. He wanted that card size.
Okay.
And that increased the price.
Okay.
38 cents.
It does.
So that's
Wow.
what those are to the right, are the 38 cents higher than what's on the left.
Okay. So I think the question, there's a couple questions here that I saw. One was, and let me see, I'm going to try to turn on an editing here. I'm not sure if it's going to kill my thing here or not. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay, so hold on here a second. Let me stop sharing and share it again. Gotta love technology. Okay. Okay, so I've got it. I edited. Jeez. All right, hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. So on this quote here, we've got a couple different questions. One is the type of lanyard. Well, one is the, and I'm going to put my stuff at the top here. So we've got one question is the 2.5 by 3.3 or 3x4.
Brian Schubring insists we go the 3x4.
Well, okay, but that's I mean,
it's extra $150 is what that
that's
is.
100. That's it's well, it's not $150, is it? It's like let me bring up a calculator here, but it's 38 cents.
Each unit is going to be 153 for 150 pieces.
Yep.
For 250, it's 1.48. For 500 pieces, 1.23. For 1,000 pieces, 1.13. The reason for these different breakouts are if we wanted to just order the lanyards for this fest, or do we want to order a bunch and use them in future fests? And the way we use them in Future Fest is to drop the number. Remember this is the what? What fest is this?
29th.
The 29th. If we drop the 29, then we have no number and we can use it at Future Fest.
Okay. That's I understand that. I guess my thing is if to use the 3x4 is the difference between $230 versus $170. So I guess it's not that bad. It's $57 extra to do that. But if we do more, so if we do 250, which is $1.10 and $1.48. Yep.
I'm missing those big numbers you're giving me there. Unit prices is what I was talking.
Yeah, and I'm talking totals. So for 250,
okay, you multiplied them out. I didn't. Okay.
Yep. And so the total now, obviously, each one of these has a constant. There's a $50 setup charge and a $23 shipping charge, but that's constant for all of them. So the difference between the smaller card holder and the larger card holder is for 150
38 cents.
Well, yeah, which is $57 for 150 units, and for 250 units, it's $100. So off of 370, so it's. I mean, I guess my point is it's a quarter of the cost to do the bigger thing, and so I'm wondering, yeah, it's 25%. We're paying 25% extra to get that bigger lanyard holder or the bigger card holder, and I guess my question is, can we set Brian up for smaller pieces of paper? Is that cheaper than paying 25% extra for these holders?
My 2 cents is that I like the big badges and I'd like to stick with them.
Okay, that's fine. I'm as John coined the term, I feel like there's a curmudgeonly view here, so somebody has to bring it forward.
So Jim, did you compare the 250 at smaller price with the 250 at for the larger price? Which
I did.
It wouldn't be that much of a gap, would it?
Yep, it would.
Yeah,
gap is
the size difference is a constant, but it gets cheaper for the small ones. But the 38 cents is a constant.
Oh,
well, the small one is out. Brian Schubring will not permit it.
He will not permit it.
If we were to have a vote, I would probably lean towards the 3x4 anyway. So
okay, that's fine.
I mean, it sounds like everybody's interested in that. We could certainly run a vote if anybody likes.
All right.
I don't want to go against Brian.
Yeah, really. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
Part of the reason that Brian was pushing for that was the readability of the logo and the text on the card that goes into the holder.
Okay.
If it gets smaller, it gets less readable. Also, with regard to the imprinting on the lanyard, I thought one of the suggestions that, well, I think I made it, was that we could have the badge with the stripes and the Glenside Color Computer Club from the web page be printed on the lanyard, and not worry about the particular year of the fest, because the lanyards could then be still from Glenside and still be Tandy marked, so to speak, and be used for multiple years.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I mean, the price seems so much cheaper that I think we should consider the 1,000 piece, but I definitely want a sample before we decided on that.
Okay.
Rich Bear wants to say something.
Yeah, Rich, go ahead.
If we were to go with 1,000, I think we should put a lot of thought into the actual graphic layout. And we also have to think about colors, because the price they quoted us may only be for a lanyard with a background color and a foreground color. And if we want that badge
Rich, speak up into your microphone, please.
Are you having trouble hearing me?
I was, yeah.
I'll lean closer to the computer. Maybe that'll help. The badge that's on the club page header has black, white, red, green, and blue. And there may be extra charges for more colors of printing. So we need to find that out from the lanyard maker.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't get that question.
Yeah.
So is Brian's thing that he's set up to print the names on the lanyard?
No, what we've done in the past is that Brian creates everything except the name with a denotated box for where the name goes, and then he sends them to me, and I look over the list of people who are attending and carefully print the name in each one.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm hearing is that, oh, great. It's not showing anything. What I'm hearing is that if we want to go to that bigger amount, then we want to put some more effort around the what we're going to put in it. Are we going to? Because I think somebody asked about the I think you'd mentioned as well around the 3-color printing and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and here is, just so you're aware, here is the calculations. So I did the calculations so everybody can see it. This is just for the where's my zoom here view? Get it a little bigger so that everybody can go 200%. That should be enough. So this is the quantities. This is what they quoted us: $1.15, $1.10, 85 cents, 75 cents. That's for you, Bob. And then this is the 3x4 prices: 153, 148, whatnot. This is the totals, right? These are the totals.
Yeah. And we can the totals on the left we're not going to use because Brian insists that we're not going to be able to use that card size.
Yeah, well, okay, so I can get rid of those if we're all agreeing that we like them better, and that's fine. Then I'll just go ahead and hide these columns. I guess it's not a hill I'm going to die on, but anyway, we do need to understand that after you factor in the setup costs and everything else, the total unit cost of the units of the lanyards are these prices right here. So for 150, it's $2 a lanyard, all the way up to 1,000, which is $1.20 per lanyard. For the 3x4, because you gotta amortize the $50 setup fee and the $23.75 shipping charge over the cost of the number of lanyards. So if we're okay with basically that's going to be $1,200 to purchase 1,000 lanyards, and that's not where it's going to be more than that, because if we go to 3-color printing, then it's probably going to move it up to probably $1,500 or so. We can get a better quote, but I think it's going to be about $1,500.
1,000 would probably last us close to 10 years, maybe not quite.
Yep.
So that seems a little excessive. Maybe we should think about 500 or 250.
I have a note here. From what I understand, the pricing ranges, we don't have to buy the 1,000 to get the cost for 1,000. From what I understand, it says they're up to 1,000 or up to 500. So we can purchase 700 and still get the cost of $1.13.
Okay, so we do 501. Okay. we do need to check on that to make sure, because I guess I see what you're saying. I didn't read it that way, so we do need to find out if that's truly the case.
If you can put that back up on there, like if you wanted to buy 500,
yep,
what they're saying there is that's going to cost you $615
But
for
it's actually
500
going to cost.
units.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
actually going to
And
cost you $680.
I
Right?
looked up the price for the color, and to get an additional color is imprint color is $50 more setup charge and 8 cents per unit.
Okay.
So that would be $100 more setup charge and 16 more cents per unit. If you wanted red, green, blue.
So give me
what
that real quick. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
what I was saying on this thing from the beginning, and I haven't said it yet, so here it comes. I don't see any reason why we need multiple colors on the lanyard. You're going to have your colors in the card. That's where you're going to see it. The lanyard, whatever cuteness you do there, it's worthless. I'd say stay with one color.
We're the Color Computer Club, Bob.
I was gonna say that color computer.
That's my view too.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, but
But
it's a
what do
color
you mean?
lanyard
What do you
club,
mean
not a color
card?
lanyard
It's
club.
not the card.
What generally happens is this is a ribbon, and the ribbon tends to hang on you and turn into a straw, so you can't read it anyway.
Oh, I don't think we should spend this much on a ribbon. I thought this was for a card.
No.
This
This
is
is for the
no,
lanyard.
no. This is for the lanyard, which is a ribbon.
Oh, well, I don't think we should spend this much on a ribbon. I thought we were buying a printed card. And if we're not buying the cards,
No.
Yeah.
You're not buying a printed card. The card comes separate. This is
well,
for the
I say
lanyard
we
only,
get
the
like
thing
an
that
eBay
holds the
lanyard
card.
for like 10 cents a piece.
There's one other thing I was going to bring up. If we're going to buy 500 or 1,000 of these and they're going to last us anywhere from 4 to 10 years, someone's going to have to store these. And they can get lost, they can get damaged, the person can misplace them. So that's one of the things that we also need to consider if we're going to buy multiple copies.
Okay. Well, John Mark,
House
I think.
fires.
These
Yeah,
seem
how-
expensive if it's just the.
That's
the
what
necklace.
happened to a lot of our stuff. We've lost it in a fire.
Well, the
I'll
lanyards don't take much space, so I don't think that's a major concern.
Jim,
yeah.
this quote has a website. You can immediately show the website, and you'll see all those ribbons and the variations and the terminations and so on. Can you
Okay.
go to that right now?
Yeah. I can.
Hey, one last note here. This is David D. Can you folks hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Hey, a real just quick note here from experience. A lot of times when you ask a vendor to make something custom like this, you know, somebody talking about pricing and trying to get it, 501. A lot of times in the fine print, there will be a 10% over or underrun a policy, right? And that's just because the person who's running the machine doesn't stop it right at 1,000 or right at 500. The machine may print another 10% more, and that vendor is going to expect you to buy those. You just make sure that you check the fine print, because you may end up with 1,100 of them instead of 1,000.
Well,
Annette, you worked for Promac, didn't you? Yes. Did they charge you if they overran? Were you forced to buy an overrun? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think you're completely off on that one.
Yeah, all I'm saying is read the fine print. Make sure that you check it.
My wife used to work there.
Not the same company. I work for Promax. She works for Meridian.
Okay. Can be checked.
Okay.
We'll check up on it.
Yeah, I'll take that. I don't know that we've got a consensus, but Bob wanted me to go to the website. So Here's the website. Badge Reel lanyards. Is that what you wanted?
I believe so. It's this ID product source.
Not badge reel, just regular lanyards. Okay, I'll go back and so there's double-ended lanyards, dye sublimated, or economical lanyards. I don't know which lanyard I'm supposed to look at here.
Well, you look at them all.
Well, I know, but I don't know which one. I don't know which one is
we
the
have
price.
to select. We have to select a ribbon color. Okay. We have to select an ink color. I was going to think either blue with white letters or white with blue letters, or whatever you guys come up with. You guys may want the famous Eric green and black or something like that.
Well, some of these are cheaper. They're 64 cents a lanyard. I would dare say, Eric, that some of these are, I guess the pricing for these, if you get the value ones, they're probably not going to be cheaper on eBay than they are on this website. But anyway, I don't know that I want to. This is going to take way too long for us to. I mean, we need to figure it out. But it sounds like, John Mark, I think there's concern. There's concern around how much it's going to cost, whether we need to do full color or not.
Full color.
I guess. Well, I meant multiple colors as opposed to just one color, right? You got one position, which is that, why do we need to do full color? Because, it's just gonna turn into a straw basically. And other people have suggested that we should, if we're going to spend the money to put 500 or 1,000 of these as an order. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing there's not agreement there.
Well, I personally don't think we should be spending money on lanyards. I think if we're going to print something, we should print the card itself and then just buy a solid color lanyard.
Okay, I can answer to that. Brian Schubring has done the cards for us and has only charged us for the materials for years.
Right. Right, but they're paper, and that's fine if we want paper, but we could print plastic cards.
But I don't think that's what they're supplying us in that amount.
Well,
no,
I wonder if we need to ignore or stop looking at lanyards and start looking
what Brian Schubring turns out is a card for you to put your name in with the funny logo we got with the 3 colors. That's on the card. And also you tear that card in half and it goes into a box where we have 2 drawings during the fest at least. Is that right, Tony? Tony?
Yeah, turn on my mic. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do
I mean,
we use it? Do we draw from the card twice? Is that right?
I just think paying $1 for a lanyard is incredibly expensive for something that most people are going to throw away.
It's what you all voted to do at the last meeting.
I
Well,
have
that's
some
just
more
my
input
opinion.
on that.
So.
Go ahead, Rich.
Last year, when I was preparing the packets for the attendees, we were short of the sleeves, the 3x5 sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to buy those at Office Depot, and they were almost $1 a piece. So we're not just buying a lanyard; we're buying a lanyard and a sleeve, and maybe this is a pretty good deal.
Well, it doesn't.
That's
I mean,
what went down at the last meeting.
I think I agree that at the last meeting. I mean, Rich can remember the thing, but I believe the way it's worked is there was a request to get pricing on lanyards at the last meeting, and so we've done that. John Mark has done that, but I don't know that there was
delivered.
I know, but I don't. I think that part is done. I don't know that we did, though, agree at the last one that no matter what the price, we were going to move forward. I think it was get pricing and let's bring it back. And so we brought it back. There sounds like there's some, I don't know, maybe John Mark or I guess who else is who else cares one way or the other about the lanyards? That sounds like Rich is saying probably is a good idea. Bob's for it. I mean, who has concerns, serious concerns about it? I know Eric does. Anybody else?
I'm with Eric. I
Okay,
think
so you got
what makes something look nice is the card itself rather than the string that it hangs from.
okay.
Well, I got some
That's
more
fine.
input here.
Well,
when
Rich Bear has put some weight, as you pointed out there. He says you're going to have to push this card, the printed card, into a sleeve. And he's found that the sleeves themselves were about the same cost as adding a lanyard to it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but
that's
we
why
wouldn't
the
be buying.
lanyard was suggested,
Yep.
because it was
Yep.
We wouldn't
easy
be
to
buying
hang on your neck.
Office
Right.
Banks lanyards though. We would be going to a distributor for like 10 cents a lanyard or whatever they cost. You know, maybe they're more, maybe they're cheaper. I don't know. But I know they're
I
not going to be $1 a piece.
Yeah, and I think the key here is so the big thing that we need to reconcile is there's two ideas that are completely dissimilar here that we're going to have to decide on. That has nothing to do with the lanyard versus one lanyard versus another. One idea is to have the lanyard and a plastic sleeve and a paper card, right? That's what we've been doing. 3x4 paper card in a plastic sleeve. And if that is true, then the plastic sleeve, as Bob is indicating, could cost just as much as the lanyard if we buy it from this company. So there's not a lot of cost involved in doing that. However, what Eric is saying is Eric's thinking plastic badge. So it's a more substantial badge, not a piece of paper, and therefore does not need a plastic envelope to be put in. You just affix it to a lanyard directly. Now that one is different than what we've done in the past because you can't use it you can't cut it up and use it for the drawings, right? Because it's not a piece of paper. But that's what you're suggesting that we spend the money on, correct, Eric?
Yeah, I think
It's okay. I just wanted to get a confirmation because it's not like we're saying you got to get the plastic holder either way. The plastic holder only is needed for the paper badge, and the paper badge is not what Eric is talking about. So I guess the thing we need to decide is paper badge or plastic badge. The challenge with a plastic badge is unless you can get people to bring it back year over year, you're going to be spending a lot each time for the plastic badges, and you got to do the plastic badges right there at the show. And I don't know how we do plastic badges at the show. I don't know. We put people's names on a plastic badge at the show. The printer for that is more expensive than a inkjet printer. So what's your idea for that, Eric?
Well, VCF Midwest, we were expected to write our own name on the badge, and it might not have been a VCF. That might have been Tandy Assembly, but yeah, you just write your name on the badge.
Yeah, Tandy Assembly had like a floppy disk, and
okay.
then the name was written on it. But you could do a label, like a label maker or label printer kind of thing, if you want to print it nicely.
The Tandy Assembly was actually a coaster like they put on the bar when you buy a beer.
Yeah, I remember that. Here it is right here.
Yeah, I mean the plastic badge. I've gone to plenty of industry events, shall we say. Plastic badges are nice. I will say that you still got to hang it somewhere. Hanging around your neck is what I prefer rather than trying to pin it to my shirt or something. So I like the idea of a lanyard. I definitely do agree, though, that the lanyard itself, we don't need to put a lot of effort into printing logos and all that kind of stuff on, just because they're not too useful or whatever, or they don't mean much to me. But I do like to be able to hang the badge around my neck, and in fact, that's what I've been doing for years at Cocoa Fest. Is I get the plastic badge and then I dig in my bag for an old lanyard, and so I kind of provide my own lanyard from something else, and I can still do that. But I kind of like the idea of a lanyard, Yeah, I don't know if the dollar something price is all that exorbitant. You know, like you say, when you factor in, it's going to include the badge holder. I don't know. It's kind of a kind of arguing over the color of the bike shed, I guess, is at this point. But it's really going
Right.
either
Well,
way.
I guess if we have to have a lanyard and we got to spend money on it, what I would like to see is us spending the least amount we can on a lanyard and putting some money into the badge itself.
That's fine. So I think we can, what I'm hearing is consensus, because I want to kind of wrap this up for the moment. What I'm hearing as consensus is we do absolutely want a lanyard. Lanyard is a good idea. It's just how much do we want to spend on the lanyard? The big question is, do we want plastic badges like the one I just showed from Tandy Assembly, or do we want to continue with the paper badges? So we need to kind of decide that, and I don't know that I want to do that tonight. I think somebody needs to take, maybe John Mark, you can take that away and canvass some folks and get us maybe a conversation on both, like what the plastic little things would cost. The ones like I was not a huge fan of the Tandy Assembly one just because it was so enormous. Felt like I was carrying a big huge metal all around my neck, but something like that versus the ones that we previously have been using. Can you take that away and kind of rework it a little bit?
I can try.
Okay. So I would like everybody.
Wait. The
Yeah.
question is, who is going to do it? Who will Brian Shoebring be doing his card thing with?
I don't know until we decide whether it's plastic or paper.
Okay, who could possibly do plastic?
Well, the one I just showed on the screen, the one that I showed, you don't do. You just take a Sharpie and you write your name on it.
And do you then tear that piece of plastic in half and put half of it in the drawing box?
Nope. We just
buy tickets.
We just buy tickets and put them in.
Yeah, that costs like $5. Not that hard.
Yeah. It would fundamentally change how we do the auction or how we do the drawings.
I think what Tandy Assembly did is they had numbers on the back of the badges when they handed them out.
I'll see.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
You're right. It has a number on the back of the badge, -74. So you are correct. So you do the same thing. You just don't tear. You just have a bunch of numbers counted from 1 to 250, and you just I guess you just draw. You get the piece of paper with a number on it or something, and you put your number on there or what? I guess you put your number on a piece of paper and you just put it in the jar. That's how you do the drawing.
No, we just hollered out different numbers, and anybody who shows up with a badge with that number on it, then it works.
You could do that, or create a little program and have it pop up a random number.
Okay,
there's all kinds of ways you could do it.
I'm gonna say we need to get this information to John Mark so he can come back to us with what do we want to do, because I don't care, but we're not going to decide it here tonight, so it doesn't make any sense for us to continue to debate it tonight. So
could I get one more opinion in?
Well, it depends. If it's short and it doesn't cause a whole bunch of controversy, sure.
One thing that wasn't added on the ribbon, there's a 30-day lead time.
I got it. So we have to make a decision. We got a little over 2 months, so we got to get this taken care of in the next month. I got it. Richard?
The reason I am cool about plastic badges is that I feel like when you go to an event and they give you something that's going to prove you were there, usually your name is printed on it, so that you can take that home and say, look, I was at such and such. It's printed on that plastic badge I have. So I don't see any reason for going to plastic unless we were actually printing the person's name, because people who you give them a magic marker and you can barely read what they write sometimes, which becomes a problem during the auction when I am trying to figure out who made that last bid, and my eyes aren't very good anyway, so I can't read their badge from 10 feet away.
Okay.
But don't they write the name though if they just show up on the day of? Because we don't have pre-printed badges at that time.
I don't know more than 3 years ago what we've been doing, but for the last 3 years, I have printed on the inkjet printer the names.
Even for people who just walked in?
No. No, but I did make educated guesses as to who might show up who hadn't pre-registered in those days.
No, okay.
John Mark, I'm going to give this to you. We'll go around. We'll do a round 2 of it next month. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We have one item, and then I know we're running late. I apologize. We have one more item, which is Randy's, which is elections. So, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to know when you wanted to set up the voting system again, and when, because election time's coming around again.
It is. When the election month is what, October?
I think
we do the election.
It may have ended in October last year. I don't know when it starts.
So do we have
can
to
I
do
have a
nominations?
suggestion?
Sure.
Just do it at Cocoa Fest.
The election or the
Do the election at
voting.
Cocoa Fest.
Yeah,
The election
you're
is
saying
for
some-
the election is for all members, not just for people who show up to Cocoa Fest.
we could do the announcement at Cocoa Fest maybe.
But we're talking the
For a particular month. I'm trying to find where it shows up here.
the month of October is when, I mean, that's when we announce the, to your point, Randy, we announce the voting happens in the October one.
I thought it was in September, and then it ended in October. But I could be wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. It ended right before the October meeting, and the winners were the people who filled the offices were announced at that meeting, because you shut off voting and then announced it at the October meeting, I thought.
Yeah, so we need to come up with the nominations, and we need to
Yes.
Get it promoted and get everything out there, and
Okay.
turn on the voting system and all that jibber jabber.
Okay.
And I think,
Is that-
if I recall, the newsletter has to have the nominations in it. So we've got to time the newsletter with nominations.
Okay. Well, the newsletter went out in July, it went out in July. It was the June. They were supposed to get it done and out in June, so they would get it out. The next one would get. I'll have to let Steve know, because then that means the newsletter has to get out by the end of September, so that there's enough time for people to vote, so that they can have their vote cast before the October meeting. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that complies with all the rules that we have in our bylaws.
I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should review the bylaws and just go with that. But I believe, just off the top of my head, that we have to get the nominations into the newsletter.
Okay. Are you thinking, Randy, that we need 30 days after the newsletter before we can
to give people 30 days to vote?
Is that, if that's what it is, that's fine. I'll just let Steve know that we need to get the next newsletter out before the September meeting. Or I guess it'll have to be right after the September meeting. We'll have to be done, because we do nominations at the September meeting, right?
Yes.
So do nominations, and then the newsletter will have to go right after, and then people will vote up until the October meeting.
So we get
Sounds
potentially
good.
a new president running Cocoa Fest.
That is correct.
Next month.
That is correct. Absolutely.
Sorry, Jim, you're stuck in this job for a while.
You know, that actually causes some real problems. Like, imagine some new president coming in. He's got to figure out everything that's going on and run Cocoa Fest like the day he becomes president. So I think maybe we should, and I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but maybe we can push the election to, after Cocoa Fest, or the announcement of who is the winner to the day of or the day after Cocoa Fest, so that the president can run Cocoa Fest.
Sounds like a great idea.
Point.
Yeah, Tony.
In all actuality, the person who runs the current fest at that time would be your fest coordinator. The president is doing a lot of work right now, and that's very good. But he's not necessarily the one to run the Cocoa Fest. He heads up the club, and I would as we're doing in the next month or so, he and I would be working together, and or whoever your next coordinator would be working together with the fest. But there needs to be, you heard transition teams. It just doesn't get all dumped on the newly elected president, even though
Right, but
because
his
of this
name's going to be on. But
timetable
his
this
name will be
year,
on the contract.
Well,
he's still a member of the club, and he is still a valid signature as a club representative until the next president decides to void that particular contract. And I won't quote any situations, but that was done fairly recently in January. So we're going to keep that out of the rest of this meeting. Now, also, I had to step away at the closure of the lanyard. It's not a ribbon as we think. It's not a Dacron ribbon. It's most of the lanyards that I've seen that are of any quality, and they don't have to be super $5 lanyards, are like a whistle lanyard, and it's a woven nylon or synthetic material, but it's woven. Some are flat, some are round. I've got an example of each right in front of me from 2 different events. So let's not degrade the quality of the lanyard. I'm taking a step back. I'm sorry. But, we are talking something that's going to last for years. And in the future, who knows? People could bring them back. I can bring back my lanyards. They're both in high quality, very sturdy. They both have hooks on them, and can put on a paper. What am I going to call it? A paper card, a paper badge. Thank you. A paper badge could hang on to that. Now we do still have some surplus badges. I don't know the quantity and I don't know the style. But both of these have hooks on them. Something can be arranged if we want to go that way, if we don't want to give new badge holders and stuff. But a lanyard to hang around the neck instead of trying to find a place on your shirt to clip it or pin it, and the pins come open and it comes flying off, and I've had that happen.
You were gone during the part where a lanyard is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of how much money we're going to spend on it.
Right.
Okay. So
if it comes down to that, I wouldn't worry about the money.
Well, I think there was
only got 13,000 in.
I understand. I think the key is there was a concern around whether we want to pay a premium for the lanyard, and the bigger question I think is, do we want to do a paper badge or do we want to do a neater plastic badge like some of the other groups are doing? That was bigger. That was the bigger question.
Because of the fact that we do have a drawing and it's based upon the people who filling in their name who show up, I would go with a badge holder and a paper badge that can be separated, at least for this year.
Well, I've got John Mark capturing those, so I think he heard you, so he's going to put that there, and then we're going to maybe he and I can talk later.
I'm sorry for going retrograde, but I had an urgency. I had to leave.
On the current topic, which is elections, I'm just trying to sort out what y'all want to do. I mean, I am, regardless of the state of the election, I will not just disappear after the election if you choose to hold it in October so that you don't have to mess with the bylaws. Currently, I think if you want to change that, I believe you'll need to get I believe we're too late because it would have needed to have been proposed at this meeting so that it would have been available 30 days before the September meeting. And the September meeting would be the vote on whether we would delay the election results to be delivered at the November meeting as opposed to the October meeting. So I think the only way to do it is to change the Constitution or suspend it. And there's nowhere in the Constitution that tells how to suspend part of it. So I'm not sure we really have a way to change this other than just say, forget it. We're all just agree that the Constitution really didn't factor this in and we're going to do it anyway.
Executive order.
Yeah, well, you could do something like that. but I'm not sure it's worth. I'm not sure that's where you want to focus your attention. I think you might want to just say, let's get after the election, and Jim will make sure that he continues on. I think Tony does make a good point. It actually is the organizer, the what's your title, Tony?
Coordinator.
Coordinator. It's the
Something like
coordinator's
that.
job to run the show. So that would be my 2 cents
If I
worth.
could,
Huh?
I'd make a motion that we
Yep.
put off the election of officers for till December, or at least after the fest.
We could put it off till November, but I just want to make sure we understand that the Constitution doesn't give you the right to change the date of the elections. So if you're
I
going to
don't
put
think
that,
we've been ignoring the Constitution for years anyway.
I'm okay with it. It's just some people tend to be pretty much sticklers for this, so I'm fine with doing the motion on the floor. I hear a motion on the floor, and I guess I don't see there's nothing technically wrong with the motions set up. So I think there is a valid motion on the floor, and if there's a second, I will ask for a vote.
This Grant, I'll second.
Okay, Grant Leedy has seconded it, and so I will ask for a vote. All those in favor of delaying
Aye.
Sorry. Well, you're right on the what was that, Weasler? All those in favor of waiting until the November meeting to announce the outcome of the voting. We'll still do the vote. We'll still open the voting in September, or do the nominations in September, put them in the newsletter, and we will just hold the voting open until the November meeting. Say aye.
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 Oh, wait a minute. Wait, there needs
Hold
to
on,
be
I don't know if
discussion.
that was
We
that
need
what was
discussion.
proposed.
Okay.
My motion
Yep.
was to hold off anything to do with the election until after the fest.
Oh, I guess I didn't see that you needed to necessarily do that. I apologize. I thought you were just going to hold off on the announcement until after the fest.
No, I want to hold off on any thinking or work on the election until after the fest.
Yeah, and I agree with that because we got a lot of stuff on our plate right now.
Okay, then the motion is still both the motion and the second were valid. I just misrepresented it. So
I'm having trouble understanding right now.
okay,
Please try
Alexa.
a little later.
So the motion on the floor is to simply not do anything related to the election until
Well, this is
the
also
November meeting.
asking. This is also
After
asking
the fest.
Jim. This is also asking you remain president for longer than your term. And
I understand.
Right. This means you would be president possibly into February.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. It depends on whether you hate me or not, I guess. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I don't see an extra few months. I mean, if you think we're going to do a whole lot in the month of December and January, you are sorely mistaken. I think I'm going to be visiting family and enjoying Christmas. So,
Amen.
But
well,
go ahead, John.
Well, I'm just waiting for you to call for the people opposed.
That's fine.
I don't hate you.
That's okay. That's fine. We asked. There was a discussion time. So, is there any other discussion? Okay, no more discussion. And so, as correctly stated, the motion on the floor is to delay anything to do with the election until I don't think you can just say after the fest. I think you need to have a date. So can we say the November meeting, Bob? To at least start thinking about it at the November meeting or something? Because
Yes,
otherwise
that's fine. We could start at the November meeting because the fest will be over.
Okay.
Amen.
So that's the motion on the floor. All those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
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 Okay. And those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. I don't think that motion carried.
Right. I'd like to propose a similar motion, more along the lines of what Jim was saying, that we post the election results on the November meeting.
I personally don't see why we need to delay. I mean, these things have happened. We've had these transitions before. I mean, it is, it's a special case with the November Fest, but, it's always been the case. You take over in the middle of planning for the next fest. It's just usually you have a couple extra months, but I don't really see why that's a big deal.
I for one feel like there's we need the time. We've got 2 meetings to get the fest done, and I hate to take any time away from doing anything other than the fest in those next 2 meetings. That's my personal opinion. Back to you, President.
Well, Bob, if I could have the floor. Bob, the motion failed. So if anybody still wants to move the election to at least November meeting, the results, then I would ask that somebody second that motion.
Yeah, because I have a motion on the floor to move delivering the results of the election until the November meeting, which would be a month delayed. Everything else would be the same. And I'm awaiting a second for that, and then we can discuss. John's already provided a piece of discussion on that, but we can have more discussion as well. Okay, so I do not have a second on that motion. So I think what I'm hearing is that currently the group is most comfortable with us going in and doing the nominations in September and the voting right after, with the newsletter delivering that information in the September timeframe, and the voting will complete in October, and the announcement of who's the next slate of officers will be made at the October meeting. So any other
So
items?
I
Yes.
have one question. If we're going to do that, then I would suggest that we maybe start the meeting for next week at 6:30 to make it ample time to get all this done.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. So is that a motion?
Yes.
I'll
Okay,
second that motion.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to move the September meeting to 6:30. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All opposed? Passed. Okay.
Hey, we
Anything
got
else?
something done.
Yeah, anything else before I close the meeting?
What's the
Okay.
meeting date? The 16th? Third
don't
Thursday?
know. The third Thursday.
Okay, it'd be the 16th.
Okay, 16th. And we do have a board meeting early next month because I delayed it 1 month. So for those on the
Right.
board,
Eric?
Yeah.
Eric, can Eric put that meeting date and time on the website as soon as possible?
Yes. If someone could email me though, because I have a terrible memory.
What?
I will email.
We're,
I will
we're
email
asking
you.
you to just hold it until tomorrow.
I will
I'll get
forget
it to
by
you.
tomorrow.
I will get it to
I
you.
could send myself a text message. How about that?
Okay.
I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure that we'll be nominating during that meeting.
Yes,
Is
we
that
will.
correct?
Yes, that's why we did an extra hour.
Okay.
Yep, we will be nominating, and then the voting will happen from that time frame until right before the October meeting, and then we will announce. That's what we normally have done, right? September meeting nominations and October results. Correct? Is that correct, Brandon?
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, it does. It does sound right. Yeah.
Okay.
So do
So
we need to get out the message that people need to attend the meeting if they wish to nominate someone, or?
I will put it in the news. I will put it. Sorry, not in the newsletter. I'll put it in the Facebook, and we'll put it on the website.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I have a wild card comment, which is
yeah.
I would love to be replaced as secretary. So if you have any dreams of excelling in that capacity, put your hat in the ring, please.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Thank you very much. I will talk to you later.
All right. Stay healthy, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.